Once upon a time, there was a young man who lived in a small village at the foot of a mountain. This young man was known throughout the village for his laziness. Being the youngest of 5 brothers, he had grown accustomed to a life of ease, with others always stepping in to handle the hard work. While his brothers labored tirelessly in the fields and workshops, he could always be found lounging in the shade of a tree, napping and weaving grand daydreams about a life far removed from effort and responsibility. One day, a wise old monk came to the village and called the young man over to him. "My son," said the monk, "I have a task for you. I want you to climb to the top of that mountain and bring back a single feather from the highest peak." The young man looked up at the mountain and scoffed. "That's impossible," he said. "I'm far too lazy to climb all the way up there." The monk smiled and replied, "Ah, but you see, the feather I seek is not on the mountain itself. It lies on the other side, in a cave that can only be reached by climbing to the top and descending the far slope. And it is no ordinary feather, it's a peacock feather, shimmering with hues of deep blue and vibrant green, said to be the most beautiful feather of any bird." The young man was intrigued. He had never heard of this feather, and the thought of such a unique task sparked his curiosity, and so he decided to take up the monk's challenge. The climb was long and arduous, and the young man soon found himself out of breath and sweating profusely. But as he climbed higher and higher, he began to feel a sense of exhilaration and excitement that he had never felt before. When he finally reached the summit, he was exhausted, but elated. He looked out at the breathtaking view before him and felt a sense of accomplishment that he had never experienced before. But the real challenge lay ahead. The young man had to descend the other side of the mountain and find the cave where the peacock feather was said to be located. The descent was even more treacherous than the climb. The young man stumbled and fell countless times, but he persevered, driven by the promise of the feather that awaited him. At last, he reached the cave. There, bathed in the soft light filtering through the entrance, lay the feather, gleaming, radiant, and within his grasp. He picked up the feather and marveled at its beauty, but then he realized that he had a problem. How was he going to get back up the mountain and return the feather to the monk? For a moment, the young man considered giving up, but then he remembered the sense of accomplishment and pride that he had felt when he had reached the summit. He knew that he had the strength and determination to do it again. And so he climbed back up the mountain, his muscles aching and his lungs burning, but he did not give up. He pushed himself to keep going, driven by the knowledge that he had overcome his own laziness and accomplished something truly remarkable. When he finally reached the monk and presented him with the feather, the monk smiled and said, "Well done, my son. You have learned an important lesson today. Laziness is not something to be accepted or tolerated. It is a challenge to be overcome, a hurdle to be leaped over." The young man nodded, understanding the wisdom of the monk's words. He realized that he had always been capable of great things, but his laziness had been holding him back. Now he knew he had the strength and determination to overcome any obstacle in his path. The lesson of the monk's challenge was clear. Laziness is not something to be accepted or tolerated. It is a challenge that must be faced, a hurdle that must be leaped over. When we push ourselves to achieve our goals, even when they seem impossible, we uncover a strength and resilience within us that we never knew existed. To conquer laziness, we must challenge ourselves and set ambitious goals. No matter how difficult they may appear, we must push ourselves beyond our limits and persevere, even when we face setbacks and obstacles. Discipline and consistency are key. By establishing daily habits and routines and sticking to them, we can stay focused and productive, even on days when motivation wanes. Another crucial element in overcoming laziness is cultivating a growth mindset. This means viewing challenges and failures as opportunities for growth and learning, rather than as reasons to give up. By reframing our perspective on failure, we can use it as a powerful catalyst for improvement and progress. Ultimately, Overcoming laziness requires a willingness to step out of our comfort zone and embrace the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. If you enjoyed this video, you might love this next one too.